Hey folks, something interesting happened recently. I ended up getting back into the BCL-102 game. Um, you may remember if you've watched my channel, I had the Gen 1 from the first pre-order, and I did a little customizing. I just put like a different handguard on the front of it and figured out what kind of nut and stuff it had and what threads they were for everybody, because nobody really knew what they were back then, since NEA wasn't releasing specs on it. Back then it was the NEA 102. This is the third generation BCL 102. It's a pretty slick unit. Fit and finish is really nice. Comes with an ambidextrous bolt release, which is really nifty. It's a pretty slick little rifle, actually. You may notice this one has an A2 stock on it, and you may notice the barrel is different than standard as well. So this is kind of what's exciting for me. First of all, putting the A2 stock on, actually bought it used. It was still unfired, brand new, but the owner had put this on, but he couldn't get the buffer retaining pin to stay in because the buffer tube actually wouldn't turn in far enough. So all I did was file down the shoulders on the buffer tube there and just got it to turn like another, I think it was like a quarter, half turn. I think it was like a quarter turn in, and that was enough to keep the retaining pin in there. And then I installed a Faxon Firearms 20-inch pencil profile barrel because it really annoys me that BCL sells these rifles stock with like a medium profile barrel that's pretty heavy. I think it's like 3 point something pounds, like 3.4 pounds or something like that. So it's pretty heavy. This barrel is just over 2 pounds, so it's much lighter. The rifle seems to handle a lot nicer now. So that's really awesome. That's kind of what I wanted from the beginning, was a pencil barrel. They should have just sold them with them, because people who are going to put a medium to heavy profile barrel on there are going to want to match grade, expensive, high quality barrel anyway, so they're just going to swap the barrel out. I don't know why they didn't do that, but so I just had to do it myself. I really like the charging handle. It's much nicer than the first one. The first gen had a very small, it was like an Air 15 size charging handle, and you couldn't even, like, it was hard to even get your fingers around it to rack it. Like, your fingers would like slip off of it and stuff. This one's really nice. This is basically like a Raptor charging handle kind of copy. It's really easy to grab even just with one hand from one side, so that's really awesome. If you're wondering what optic I have on here, it's a Vortex Spitfire 3-power prism scope. I've gone back and forth between low power and variable power scopes, like usually around mid to high power, with my 308 rifles, and honestly, I've shot my best groups ever with a 3-power optic. It might be the stigmatism I have in my eye, I don't know, I just shoot these prism sights way better. So I put that on there, and it's just much more simple. It's a fixed power, and it's durable. You can bump it around a lot and it'll be fine. One thing I would like to change in the future is just this handguard. I'd like to switch it out, because the handguard and barrel nuts weighs almost, was it just under 2 pounds, something like that, because the barrel nut is partly made of just like solid steel, and it's pretty chunky. I'd like to get something a little bit more lightweight, but that'll probably have to wait maybe a year or so until I have some cash, and otherwise I need to use the cash I have on hand to feed this baby with some surplus. Another thing, I'm not going to be testing any hand loads anytime soon in this thing, because I just don't have a lot of spare time right now, so I have to kind of, what little spare time I have, I try to get out to the range, so I'm just shooting surplus on this guy for the foreseeable future. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to hit up the range tomorrow morning, and I'll try to take some video then, and we'll see how she does. I haven't shot this rifle yet, so it's possible it'll have some of those problems I've heard about, but like with my first generation, I never experienced any issues. It fed, injected, extracted perfectly every time, so I'm guessing this will be the same way. I mean, a lot of the internet rumors are BS in my experience, honestly. Like, I don't know. I think people just tinker with their guns and don't put them back together properly, or they try to install parts that aren't compatible and then they blame the gun itself. That's my opinion on things because I've never experienced any of those problems. Anyways, now I'm going on a rant, so we'll get some of that footage and it should be coming up next year. Try 500 meters. Folks, at the range, I got the BCL-102 out with the new faxon 20-inch pencil barrel on it. It's performing awesome today. The only failures I ever had was when I had my brass catcher on and it accidentally was shooting the brass back into the chamber and causing stovepipes. So basically, no malfunctions once I stopped using that brass catcher. Yeah, functioning 110%, so I'm having a lot of fun with it today. It just handles so nice with that new barrel on there, I love it. And I'm really digging the A2 stock on here as well. So let's take some shots with it. Again, this is my second BCL-102. I mean, I actually had the NEA-102 when they first came out, and that one ran flawlessly, and this one also runs flawlessly. So, in my career of being a firearms nut, I've got in on a lot of pre-orders for a lot of firearms. I've gotten the first generation of the firearm. I've never had issues with any of them after hundreds of rounds through them. And then all these other people seem to be having issues. I'm starting to think it's the people and not the guns, because I've had several different models of guns that I was on the pre-order for that were new models, and I never had an issue. Maybe I'm just really lucky, but I doubt it. So I'm thinking people are tinkering with their guns, and then when they screw up the gun and the gun doesn't work properly, they blame the gun instead of themselves. So, either way, really enjoying this gun. Next step will be to get a new handguard for it. That won't be for quite some time. Handguards are pretty expensive. I'm looking at getting the Maple Ridge X1 model to put on here to shave off on almost another pound off the rifle. So this rifle's going to get really light. It already feels very light. So that'll be really good for carrying around in the bush and stuff. Being kind of a practical multi-use rifle. Accuracy I'm getting out of this so far, I've been shooting some Norinco ammo and Hertenberger ammo today. The Norinco It's getting about 2.5-inch groups at best, and the Hurtenberger was probably 3.5, 4 inches. So we'll see how that progresses as time goes on. I'm getting a bunch more of the Norinco ammo because it's just cheaper to shoot. It does shoot better than the Hurtenberger does. It always has for me out of all my rifles, so we're going to get some more of that. Yeah, let's put some more rounds in this bad boy, shall we? See if we can do some. Yes, we can. Last 5 rounds of the day, let's try to get a meter standing. It's also windy. Here's a hit. Alright, well, 1 out of 5 standing is not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Don't shoot at 500 meters standing all that often. Try to do that more often.
Are you shooting 300?
Yeah. Are you shooting 300?
Second one on the right, on the steel?
The middle one, yeah.
Middle right or middle left?
That human, what's that? 1, 2, third from the left. Which one are you shooting?
Third from the left.
Okay, you shoot that one, I'll shoot a different one.
Oh, I know, I just wasn't sure if I made it move or you made it move, but probably you.